Okay, psychopaths are thriving in this economic downturn that we're having worldwide, and this makes it very difficult for people who are trapped in jobs where they may be dealing with a psychopath, and they can't leave the job because, you know, they've got to pay their mortgage or their rent, or they've got to pay food. And the psychopaths, believe me, are very aware of this situation, and this is, you know, an economic recession with downturns and unemployment happening is happy days for the psychopath, because they actually do better in these situations than they do during an economic boom, where if there's plenty of jobs out there, you can just move on. This also applies to psychopaths who may be in your family, and psychopaths who may be in organisations or volunteer groups you're involved in, committees, and you don't want to leave this organisation or volunteer group, you want to stay, but the psychopath is causing the problems I've mentioned in other videos. Okay, we'll deal with this primarily in the workplace, but it works in other aspects as well. The psychopath is in the job. What's the first thing to do? The first thing to do is extremely important. Try not to look fearful, rattled, or perturbed by the psychopath when the psychopath is around you. Maintain calmness as much as possible. If they're saying something to you or behaving in a certain way that's causing you stress, and you may feel like you're going to crack up, you're only human now. This is okay if you feel this way. Make an excuse about getting more coffee and go to the bathroom and just try and let it out there. The second thing to do, don't do this in front of the psychopath. The second thing not to do in front of the psychopath is let them know your business. Don't tell them what you did at the weekend. Don't talk about you've had problems in the marriage in the past. Don't tell them anything about anything other than the matter at hand. And if they try to steer the conversation towards getting to the information about you personally, do the same thing again. Oh, I have to go for a cup of coffee, or I said I'd see Joe in 5 minutes. Another thing to do with the psychopath is that the psychopath corners you in a corner and says, you know, Billy, we've got to, I had this idea for the project. If we get the accounts manager over and have a talk to him about this new project, repeat in a calm voice and a loud enough voice without shouting like this. Yeah, I got you, Steve. Okay, so what you're saying is we should get the guy from the accounts over to talk about this project, right? Yeah, okay, let's do it. That's a good idea. We'll get the guy over, and you'll notice the psychopath will be doing this, looking around to see who's looking. Then, later on, go to his desk. Again, if he's done this on the quiet in a corridor or in his office, where there's other people around that you work with, and say, you know, Steve, you were saying about having a meeting with the accounts manager from the that contract we had, and the chances are the psychopath has fed a different story to the other people that are around you, and you really have them by the short and curlies when you do that, because they don't like that. And what you're doing essentially here is you're making yourself obsolete to the psychopath. The psychopath can't. The more of a pain in the ass you are indirectly, the less useful you are to the psychopath, and the more likely he'll ignore you and go work on somebody else, because fundamentally they're lazy and they're always looking for the easiest target or the easiest situation to manipulate. Now, the next thing is do a background check. In some countries, I think in Ireland this is illegal, unfortunately, but in many countries it's quite easy and quite inexpensive to do a background check on a psychopath. I myself did this one on a psychopath, not here, when I was living in a different country. Oh my God, did I find out a bombshell? Used aliases in the past. The psychopaths leave messy trails behind them. You may discover that this psychopath is giving you a hard time isn't the person they say they are. They didn't go to this college. They may have served time in prison. They may have even been a different gender. Psychopaths will, believe it or not, will actually change their sex to begin again. So if you find any of this stuff out and you've done it legally through a background check, in some countries like the US it's extremely inexpensive to do this, and it's well worth it. Print out the information that gets the psychopath in trouble and mail it out to everyone in the office, including, and do this anonymously now, to everyone in the office, including the senior managers, and just sit back and allow this seed to take root. The psychopath will be caught and found and destroyed, or more likely, will just, as soon as they're confronted, will run out of the office and just find another place, another company to destroy. That That's why remaining calm before you do this and while you're doing this is extremely important. Do not give yourself away. Another thing you do, if there's no background checks with no dirty information on it, bring books to work like The Sociopath Next Door by Dr. Martha Stout or Snakes in Suits by Dr. Bibiak and Robert Hare, and leave them on your desk with the book title faced up. What happens is these things spread like a virus through the subconscious psychological sort of what's the word? Atmosphere, paradigm of the I'm trying to sound clever here, but this is actually, you have to be positive. You have to be, you have to deal with these people without fear. Whether it's a psychopath in the office, a psychopath in a relationship, or a psychopath in government, where all those bastards are. Don't have fear. Approach this in a very matter-of-fact, casual way, and boom, you'll get those results. So leave those books lying around the office and lend them to people in the office, but don't imply it's about the psychopath you're trying to deal with. Secondly, and you've seen me say this in the other videos, please look after yourself. Please take care of yourself. You're beautiful, and I want you on this earth as long as you can stay here. So don't drink too much if you drink. And best of all, if you drink like I drink. I used to. Well, I don't really drink anymore. But even when I drank, I used to drink very little. But even a small amount of alcohol, it can screw your head up. So avoid drinking if you can. Don't eat foods that might keep you awake at night, because the psychopaths, one of the reasons they're rattling you at work is they know it's going to cause sleeplessness, and the next day it's going to blur your senses and you won't be able to deal with them as well because you've been up all night upset about it. So don't eat foods that might keep you awake at night. Things like curries, all the stuff we love, Mexican food, pizza, anything with cheese on it like that. Try to eat simple, plain food. The food that our grandparents cooked. Basic meats and potatoes and vegetables. Get good nutrition. That's very important. Another thing too is get a good night's sleep. If you can't sleep because your mind is playing tricks on you and driving you mad, that when that tape loop goes on and on, there's a fantastic natural remedy called valerian. You put a few drops in a glass of water when you go to bed, and it relaxes your muscles, and it'll help you have a great night's sleep. So when you go to work the next day, you're sharp and you're ready to confront the psychopath. And so, but the thing at the end of the day is to worry about is that psychopaths are not sustainable. Psychopaths are not autonomous. Psychopaths are always doomed. They're on a death spiral into oblivion and decay. They just want to make you believe that you're in a bad way and they're in charge and in control. They're not. Listen to what I just said. Follow those rules. Take care of yourself. We want to keep the good people alive, and we want to put the psychopaths out of business. And I'll see you later. God bless. Okay.